We turn now to our next guest, and this is as reported by Neil Wallace in this week's Farmers Weekly. It is the Farmlands Co-Operative's annual report. How have they weathered a difficult 1920 financial year to report what has been hailed as a credible result? Its net profit for the year ended June 30 was $7 million down. Slightly on the $8 million earlier, but this is from a $2.6 billion turnover. Effectively a nil result if you give and take the $7 million wage subsidy over the COVID-19 outbreak. And Rob Hewett, chair of Farmlands Co-Operative, joins us now. Evening, Rob. I can't wait to talk to you about Christmas at the end, which we will get to, because I know you won't be a Grinch.
I'm no Grinch. Yeah, hi Sarah, hi everyone out there, how are you?
Good, let's go straight to what we're here for. This is a great result for Farmlands considering the crazy year.
Look, it could have been a damn sight worse. Everything was trucking along nicely until March the 10th, which happened, I remember that day, because I was busy at the Wanaka show avoiding the bogies from the Hereford Breeders' Conference, as it turns out, and luckily managed to do that. But that was sort of the start of the defining moment of this possibly decade yet. I mean, we're only 10 months into it, but it's certainly been a big start. Look, we're pretty happy with the $7 million result compared to where it could have been. Essentially, you're right in your preamble, it is a break-even result when you take the wage subsidy into account. And make no bones about it, we took away, we met the threshold requirements, and that gave us the opportunity to continue to employ our staff with confidence, and their sole job was to get out and serve the shareholder and customer requirements during times where they couldn't get out to the shops. So all in all, it was everybody pulled together, staff, the company, our suppliers, our landlords, many of which are our shareholders, and not the least the government as well. So creditable result, but it could have been a lot worse.
What do you think one of the contributing factors were that helped Farmlands pull through with a positive result, as you said, could be a lot worse?
Well, there's no one thing. There was a whole lot. And in fact, at one stage, I think we had 30 opportunities on the wall that we were all actively pursuing, because at that stage, it was really a game of, to call it the 1%ers isn't true, but it's no single thing delivers the result. It's a whole lot of stuff working in tandem at the same time. But essentially, if you're going to distill it down, it was the staff that did the job, because they had to keep the doors open. We had a COVID click and collect store, which was basically invented and operationalised in 4 weeks, which is incredible. You talk about whether it's just in time or designed by Scrum or Agile technology or whatever it's called these days, and that was a good example of it. Shareholders could email or ring their orders in, staff would run around the store and pick it, and then arrange a pickup time for the shareholder to come in and pick it up out of the quarantine area. And that just kept things going. But our landlords came to the party, the government obviously, and staff. There's been wage freezes, no bonuses. There's been a number of things going on and still going on, because the uncertainty's not over yet.
How do you believe that had an effect on culture and staff morale, and whilst Farmlands were already going through uncertain times of its transformational plan?
Yeah, it's been a big year. We've spent a significant amount of money on our Braveheart IT ERP, which is basically the backbone for the company, the financial inventory management, customer relations management tool. And that, make no bones about it, the systems that we had were broken. Well, they weren't broken, they were puffed, worn out, and we needed to replace it. And we wanted to replace it with something that was going to be fit for purpose for the next 10 to 15 years. From the staff's point of view, effectively, that meant they had to relearn or unlearn 20 years of processes and relearn it in a new environment. And then COVID came in and washed over the top of that. And yes, we are going through or concluding a restructure in the business at the moment, which is well signalled and has been well traversed. But it was an unsettling year, and the fact that everybody pulled through and we're acting in what the shareholders and customers want, because for Farmlands, our 72,000 shareholders are our customers by and large. It was delivering what they needed to keep the businesses going inside the farm gate.
I'm getting some comments coming in here, Rob, from some viewers. And they want to know, in particular, Paul would like to know what the strategy is to return to profit in the next financial year and how Farmlands will focus on better service and better product choice.
Sure. Well, we haven't not had a profit, so we're not returning to one. We certainly want to make a better one. And we've got quite a detailed strategy, but fundamentally it's about, being able to create more detailed relationships with our shareholders to then deliver them the products and services they need around their business. So, and Braveheart will allow us to do that. So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, there's a hell of a lot more detail around it and quite a lot of innovation too. And now we've got the platform to be able to base that off. And our products and services will come out of that. So, I think of one particular area in our innovation sector, for instance, there's a lot of activity around, well, Farm IQ is part of the solution because Farmlands owns a portion of that. And, you don't have to look too far these days to start thinking about water management plans, nutrient management plans, farm environment plans. All that data's got to be stored somewhere. And Farm IQ is, I'd like to think, a logical choice. So Farmlands is looking at how can we leverage that to best serve our customers who are our shareholders. But there's more than that, drones, drone technology, Internet of Things, remote monitoring, Bluetooth collars around stock to monitor performance and relationships. There's a heap of stuff, and that's just an innovation.
Yeah, I talked in the intro there, Rob, that we are entering a new world where there's a new power and this is our consumer globally. But of course, there's new challenges that our farmers and growers in New Zealand face. How will Farmlands be in a position to help them find the solutions to all of these challenges?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'm privileged enough to sit within another company that exports, being Silverfern Farms, and my challenge to the Farmlands management and the board's challenge is, it's a very little use to go and invent your own strategy about how we being Farmlands, is going to reach those consumers offshore, because we're replicating supply chains that are already in existence. What we would be better off doing and are doing is liaising, working more closely with the agri-exporters that are there now to understand what their consumers' needs are. And you've got to remember that their consumers are paying the bills of our shareholders, who then go and spend their money in Farmland stores. So we align with what our exporters are doing. Together, we understand the consumers in market and what their requirements are, and then we can both take a decision or work together to work out how do we best meet those needs. And that will have direct implications for the products and services and the ranges of those that we stock and recommend.
Okay, changing tact. I just have this gut feeling that you would be a horse racing type fan. Rob? No.
Look, at the risk of pissing off Farmland's significant horse equine feed market, no, perhaps I won't say what I think of horses. Horses and I aren't very friendly, to be honest, Sarah. I'd much rather a quad bike, even though they roll over from time to time.
But yes, in terms of Melbourne Cup, will you be watching tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. Yeah, look, to be honest, I'm too bloody Scottish. I don't bet. I do take part in the sweeps, which is always good. I figure that I've got no knowledge, and if I can have a bit of a yahoo with other people who have no knowledge, then that works great. But if I'm having to take on somebody who knows what they're talking about, I'm never going to win that game, so I'd rather go and buy a beer.
From my father's syndicate of horses, I'm not going to take his bets either on that, tips on that one though. Rob, what about Christmas? As I said there, I want to give you a reply to me assuming that you'd be a Grinch around Christmas.
No, I'm no Grinch. I like, actually we started a tradition here on the farm, which the kids have really, the kids have all left home now, they're at university, but we started this treasure hunt around the farm about 5 or 7 years ago. And we all shoot out on the motorbikes and go for a strop around the farm and have a look. And really it's about getting them out of it's between the brunch and the lunch, go out and do something. And this has become the new tradition, which will continue. So my job is to go and drop clues around the farm the day before in plastic little bags, waterproof bags, for them to go and chase. So that works really well.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Rob Hewett. They're the chair for Farmlands Co-Operative following the annual report. Sliding in there to a $7 million profit.
This is Sarah's Country.